So what I'm trying to balance is, first of all, I don't want to be a helicopter parent. That's like the first thing. But since she was born, she's been very spirited. And I've always said, and my husband, we've always said, we have to find a way that she can live within society without killing her spirit. So for us, it's very important that she is defiant, that she is who she is. But it's really hard because we have to make sure that she's not causing trouble at school, or that she understands that there are rules in life. And
that's that smoothing her path of least resistance that we were talking about. In other words, we have to be very careful that she is. And so we have some questions for you just to sort of get this in there. Mm-hmm. So do you think that she is an extension of source energy? Now, these questions, some will seem silly, but...
Absolutely.
And do you believe that? Do you know that? Do you think that? Does it seem that she has an active inner being?
Oh, yeah.
And do you think that sometimes when she's in the receiving mode, she receives something and expresses it with jubilation that gets her in trouble?
Sometimes.
Do you think that some of her being in trouble is because she is spirited, in the sense that she's in sequence, in concert, in vibrational alignment with spirit?
Yeah.
We liked your words. You don't want to kill that spirit. But every criticism of her behavior when she is in that flow is sort of teaching her that alignment may not be best. Because a really obedient child is not listening to that exuberant timing. Timing is so tricky. Even in school with other little people, sometimes you just gotta let it go. And the teacher never wants you to.
Yes. When she was younger, she wouldn't take naps. And
she would not?
She wouldn't take naps, right?
Well,
and so the teachers were really upset about it. And my husband was like, well, why don't you just have her read a book or do something else? Because she was getting all the other kids too excited and they didn't want to take a nap. And so it was a problem for the school. But our thing was like, well, she doesn't want to take a nap. She doesn't want to take a nap. Like, don't force her to take a nap. Like, try to figure something else.
If she doesn't want to like the fireworks, don't force her to like the fireworks. In other words, let her be the being that she is and encourage her alignment and watch for it. The point that we're making that we think is the greatest benefit to you is that sometimes, and it's not just you, it's almost every parent, sometimes her state of greatest alignment is misunderstood because you're trying to control the condition or the behavior rather than revel in the emotion. This is the way it goes. You're going to like this and see if you don't recognize this pattern. So she's on her own, getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on. She's in the flow. She's feeling good about life. She's frisky and in the receptive mode, and then responds in some way that evokes a little negative response from somebody else who would rather sleep than live. Now, it's like a wheel going really fast and somebody sticking a stick in it. It's sort of an abrupt adjustment, and then law of attraction begins to follow that pattern a little bit, so that the separation between who she really is and how she wants to feel is being challenged by what's going on around. Children, school, jail, school, jail, school, jail. And so, freedom, joy, freedom, fun, freedom, loud, freedom, timing, freedom, exuberance, freedom, alignment. Alignment trumps everything. And so just say to yourself for a little while, because your questions and your comments have been so important here in this context. So your opening question to us is, how can I help my child? By acknowledging this understanding all day, every day. Alignment trumps everything. And then focus on your own alignment and witness the alignment in her. Focus on your own alignment and witness the alignment in her. And what you'll begin to notice is you are an influencer of her alignment, but you're not the reason for it. And she is a witnesser of your alignment, but you are not the reason for her alignment. You're not the reason for hers. She's not the reason for yours, because you are conditional reality for each other. And you don't want to need a condition to be a certain way in order to feel good. This is what she's trying to demonstrate. This is the leadiness message that we are talking about all day, every day. How do you live in a world that requires behavior from you in order to give you its approval, without losing your own guidance and losing your own self and then resenting them for pulling you from it? Isn't that sort of the state of affairs that almost everyone is in? So what's the alternative? The alternative is allow someone who hasn't given it over yet to keep it. And let her show you how she keeps it. Let her show you how natural it is to keep it. Let her show you how easily she bounces back, how ready she is to go again, how you cannot get her spirit down. She never gives that up. You can never break her like the horse. You're not ever going to convince her that this modified behavior is who she should be. You are right. In your early acknowledgement of who she is, you said, this is a very strong spirit. This is a very strong inner being. Add to the words, this is a happy, clear being. This is a pure, positive energy being. I will not squelch her in any way whatsoever, even if society demands that she behave differently. I'm not going to be the squelcher of this spirit. This is the most powerful relationship understanding that the two of you will have. We've been saying to a lot of you, your children have come forth to demonstrate for you how you used to feel and how you are now in a seminar trying to return to. And so what this question is about is, Abraham, I have someone that's in the place that I want to be, and the school wants her to be someplace else. Can you help me get her over there? And we say, you're not going to get any help from us on that one. We're on her side. We're the one giving her the great ideas to get up and play during nap time. And so this is the perfect opportunity for you to come to this place where you say to this teacher or to anyone that's trying to restrict anyone, I certainly can sympathize with your wanting to control the conditions. It seems like that's what so many establishments are about. We need to control conditions. But I've given up on trying to control conditions. I'm trying to live a sort of unconditional love. Now that will get anybody's attention. I'm trying to live a sort of unconditional love. What do you mean? Well, the fewer conditions I try to control, and the more unconditions that I realize I am in control of, the more I get to the heart of what I'm really about, and the more beautiful my life goes. And I wish that for my daughter. I want her to always know the perfection of who she is. And I will not join others who demand that she jump through their hoops, because I don't want others to guide her. I want her guidance to come from source. And that's what she's got going on right now, and I intend to keep it that way. Yeah. You can say to the teacher, I feel your pain. I took her to the fireworks the other night, and she didn't jump for joy. And I told her it was all for her, and she wouldn't even admit it. Esther went with grandchildren to the fireworks in Bouchard Gardens some years ago. And they were unusual and beautiful. Nothing like Esther had ever seen. And there was this beautiful sort of European seeming music playing, and there was a lot of mist and fog and lights. It was the most spectacular presentation of fireworks that Esther had ever seen. And she said to Laurel, wasn't this just the best that you've ever seen? And Laurel said, so far. The little brat, holding out for even better, holding out for more. recognizing that this isn't the end of all of it, not trying to regurgitate the past, not trying to compare everything with everything, just living in the moment and appreciating it pretty good and knowing that there's a whole lot more, and this doesn't need to be any big whoopee over this. Yeah? Enough?
Yeah.
Whether you consciously acknowledge it right now or not, everything that you are queued up and wanting to know, we've answered and answered and answered and answered and answered and answered. We have enjoyed the unfolding here for many reasons. We enjoyed feeling you as you are in terms of what you're allowing. But we also enjoy your allowing us to get focused upon the things that you've been asking for, because you help us in shoring up, redefining, getting the emphasis in all the right places of the things that matter to you. In other words, you helped us during this conversation to accomplish a stronger, clearer, surer expectation of your success than ever before. So, as we take pleasure in knowing who you are and no discomfort at all about where you are in relationship to it right now, because there is nothing iffy about it. There's a little bit of win about it, but there's nothing iffy about it. Everything that you want is in the process of unfolding. And so you've given us a more focused opportunity to sit back in our place of quiet contemplation and anticipation of your discovery of your path of least resistance on your way to all that you want. So what we're saying to you is, it really doesn't matter where you stand in relationship to anything that you want, because it's a sure thing that you are on the way to it. We just want to soften your anxiety about the speed with which you are traveling your path. We would like to encourage you to slow down and savor wherever you are just a little more, to catch more glimpses about how we feel about where you are along the way, to take more pleasure in this journey. We said to our friends who got on board this magnificent cruise ship here in Seattle a week ago, we said to them, you got on in Seattle, and in a few days you will get off in Seattle. And so, wouldn't it be disappointing if the captain just said to you, hello, we're glad you're here, and since you're getting on exactly where you're going to get off, we'd like you to now get off. This journey is now complete. And you would say, but wait, I didn't start this journey just to get to where I was going. I knew I was going to come back to Seattle, but I was interested in things along the way. I was interested in the new experiences, the new conversations, the new perspectives, the new opportunity, the new contrasts, the new giving birth to new desires. And that's the way we want you to feel in every moment of your experience. We want you to stand where you are, happy and proud and satisfied about where you are. Because even though it is true, you have introduced sometimes unnecessary resistance to your path, that resistance that is upon your path is serving you. Otherwise, it would not be there. You said, I will go forth into a time-space reality where there is contrast and variety, and out of it will be born my desires. And that certainly is something that is happening for you. Because of you, the universe is expanding. Because of you, we are able to focus with you into this leading edge. We cannot find words enough to describe to you the appreciation we feel for the ongoingness that you provide, for the eternalness that you put into eternity. But we can promise you that every step along your journey, we will be there with you, proud of you, and sure with you. And that if you feel just a little bit, you will begin to feel the worthiness that is natural. And once you hook into that feeling of self-pride and worthiness, right place, right timeness, which is what we feel about you all the time, then wherever you are, we'll yield to you all that you want it to. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain eternally in the vortex.